Welcome to America's spaceport, the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, where a Dragon spacecraft sitting on top of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket will launch Crew 7 to the International Space Station.
You can see Jasmine Mogbelli there with her visor down.
And the suit inflated, right?
Exactly, yeah. So she is in the midst of her pressure check, and looks to me like everything is going well. But of course, we want to make sure that those suits have good integrity in the event that we would ever have to use them on board the vehicle. There's Andy Mogensen sitting to her right. His visor's still up, so it looks like perhaps his test has not been initiated yet. And I believe they do perform these one at a time. So Andy has a few minutes there just to kind of relax. You can see the Danish flag on the left of Andy's suit because he is a European Space Agency astronaut, and he is from Denmark.
And now you're looking at mission specialist Satoshi Furukawa giving us a big wave and a big smile and the thumbs up. Last but not least, mission specialist Konstantin Borisov was selected to be a cosmonaut in 2018, and this will be his first trip to space along with Jasmine. And here they come, the astronauts walking down the hallway at astronaut crew quarters. 3 astronauts, 1 cosmonaut of Crew 7 waving as they go by into the elevator, headed down to the first floor. Behind them, Joe Akaba, I believe that's Norm Knight with the Flight Operations Directorate.
It is.
Core on countdown, crew walkout and suit up room departure is in progress on schedule.
It's impossible to not smile when you're watching them walk out with those smiles on their faces, isn't it? It's contagious.
And here they come, Crew 7, taking their first steps outside before their journey to space.
Again, look at those genuine smiles. You really can't hide the excitement.
From left to right, we have Konstantin Borisov, Andreas Mogensen, Jasmine Mogbelli, and Satoshi Furukawa.
Here we go. You can see some of the NASA administrator there, Bill Nelson, Bob Cabana's there, the associate administrator. We mentioned Pam Melroy already. Everybody's there to cheer them on, send them on their way.
Let's listen in a little bit. We've got a microphone down there.
Что, прочувствовали? Да, классно. Кайфовала? Нет, вообще нет. Вот сейчас вот стоял, чтобы вас видеть, расплакаться немножко, отвлекся,
Of course, the astronauts have been in quarantine for the past 2 weeks, so that's why they're standing a set distance away from their family and loved ones.
Yeah, that's right. We want to make sure that, of course, we don't carry any viruses or anything like that with us to the space station. So everybody has been in this strict kind of quarantine protocol leading up to the space flight, and they're continuing to keep their distance now. You see Alex Gerst, German astronaut from the European Space Agency there, and Takuya Nishi, a Japanese astronaut. You can see those blue suits toward the front, helping out, escort the families and with the guests. Both are space veterans, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Red right here. Red right here.
A double kiss from Jasmine, probably to her 2 girls.
Yeah, and I heard Andy speaking Danish to his family.
Yeah, you speak, you're fluent, right, in Russian and Swedish, right?
I do, yes. I speak Swedish, pretty similar to Danish, so sometimes I can understand what Andy and his family are saying.
Did you catch anything?
I did. He said, "Vi ses, we'll see you." Yeah, I didn't catch what he said at the end there. But Andy's family actually lives just a street away from me, so I see them quite often.
How about that? Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Here they go. Doors are closing.
Well, this is a good time to talk about the playlist. Jasmine, is going to be queuing up some Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston, some hip-hop. She's a big hip-hop fan. And apparently so is Andreas, so that works well for the commander and the pilot, who will be in the '01 Tesla. Satoshi says he'll crank some 80s Japanese pop music. And I put that on my own music app just to hear a little bit. Unsurprisingly, a lot of synthesizer. Just like 80s in America. And then Constantine says he's going to crank some System of a Down, Pink Floyd.
Look at that. I see Jaws twin girls. They're wearing little mini SpaceX suits.
Oh,
I have one of those for my daughter as well. They are adorable. They look exactly like the real thing.
No kidding.
You can see them just over at the window right now.
I see,
looking in at Mom. Riding on Dad. Yeah, those playlists they have for the Teslas and perhaps, we on the Soyuz, we create a playlist for inside the vehicles. We're in the vehicle for so long before things get busy in there that we have some music, and it's so nice to hear a couple of the favorite songs from each of your different crewmates, lots of different styles of music, and those songs that are really important to you.
We got a social question. If you have one, send it to us. Hashtag AskNASA on YouTube, Twitch.
See those outfits with
I see
the
them.
hood and everything. Yeah,
Yep.
that hood for the helmet. They're really great.
Cute.
Got to dress like Mom. Be ready for game day.
Oh, absolutely. And I imagine that helps a lot with this moment. Of course, they're quite young. But, with children of a certain age, understand that there's some risk involved, and astronauts have to have that conversation with older children.
Yeah, I'm sure it gives them something to identify with. They're wearing the same outfit as Mom today and ready to cheer her along for her launch.
So in the first Tesla, we've got the closeout lead and 2 suit technicians. In the second, the commander and pilot. And the third, the mission specialist, 1 and 2. And bye they go. Bye.
I think you need a longer bye.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Here we go with our commander and pilot, Jasmine and Andreas, making their way out for a view of the rocket.
And there it is, that traditional lean back. You got to try to take it all in, and it's a tall rocket.
And they've got as I understand it, a very rigid back to the spacesuit, which prevents them from actually turning their heads up. So you've got to turn your entire upper torso.
Right,
and
right? That with the helmet being integrated onto the suit, it adds that stiffness as well. I remember these moments getting ready for my launch, and it's interesting because people ask all the time, how do you feel? Are you scared? But the thing is, we are so well trained. We've gone through all of these motions so many times that even for me, when I was well into sitting in the vehicle, looking at my displays, monitoring things, hitting buttons, you're going through all of these training protocols, and it just feels like another simulation. I actually had to remind myself that this one was going to be real, that it was going to end a little bit differently.
All right, there are 2 mission specialists, Konstantin Borisov and Satoshi Furukawa.
Taking it in.
They're getting a lot of looks.
Yeah.
Big wave, thumbs up. It's interesting about that elevator when they go in. If they were to ask, which floor would you like? There's actually a button that says space.
Yeah.
They changed the 255-foot level to space. Which floor? Space, please. Oh, yeah, right away. Let me punch that up for you.
Always the best button that you want to press. But only the 4 of them will be making that final step to space. Everybody else has to come back down the elevator.
That's right. And there's Jasmine Mobelli, the commander, and Andreas Mogensen, our pilot, making their way across the crew access arm into the White Room, where they'll get into the spacecraft. But first,
Core on
sign that
countdown.
meatball.
Crew have arrived at the White Room and are preparing for ingress. We are on schedule.
Yeah, that other tradition that we talked about. There's the last signature that they'll have to dole out before they get all strapped in.
There go our pilot and commander carefully getting in. They don't want to mess up that seal, so you'll see him take a lot of time to crawl over that entryway, the side hatch. And here come our mission specialists. On the left, Konstantin Borisov, and on the right, Satoshi Furukawa.
They're even dancing their way down the hallway.
Oh, they're loving it.
Oh, another tradition. A lot of times our astronauts and Konstantin here, you can see taking the name tags of some of their ground support personnel, and they'll be flying those to space with them.
That's got to be really special for those technicians.
Absolutely. I mean, they're playing such a critical role, you know, especially those connections you have with those people in those moments leading up to your launch. Really has an incredibly strong bond you have with those people. Any good astronaut or cosmonaut always has a Sharpie with them. I don't think there's a Sharpie pocket on this suit, but the technicians are handing them Sharpies to get this job done.
Yes, in fact, it's on the to-do list. Make sure that the Sharpie is in the white room. And you saw briefly Satoshi holding his arm up, and those zippers. They have zippers on each arm, zippers on the leg. Those got to be zipped up, nice and secure, so that that pressure suit functions exactly as needed.
Yeah, there's actually 2 layers of zippers. That's probably just the external one, so there's a redundancy there. The main pressure is held by the lower set, the more internal set of zippers. Another critical component of the way we do
Core on
things at NASA.
countdown. Seat 1 and Seat 4 are beginning their ingress into Dragon. We are on schedule.
You know, safety always comes first. We always have a lot of built-in redundancy to each system, including the spacesuits, to make sure that we can keep everyone on board safe. Another big difference that I'm sure Andy and Satoshi are feeling right now is the difference of the seats between Dragon and the Soyuz spacecraft. You know, you have a much more natural kind of sitting position in Dragon, a lot roomier for you to stretch your legs a little bit. You know, their heels will actually be kind of clipped in, not clipped, but there's a little runner there that you slide your heel in. It's a little notch in the boot. You slide that onto the boot plate to help secure your feet for the launch and landing process. But while they're sitting there on the launch pad, they can take a foot out if they want, stretch a little bit, and move around.
Kind of like a ski boot and a ski, or a, you know, cycling shoes that have those.
Yeah, kind of like that cycling shoe, but a little bit of a different mechanism. It's just kind of a front to back slide. You can see Andy looking up at the displays there. Looks like he's configuring something or checking something on the monitors. And Satoshi and Konstantin getting strapped in. They have their little satchels, that's what they call them, on their knee there. They have a tablet, so they have procedures on the tablet. If they have a few small items that they might need during the ascent, they can have them in that little satchel as well.
So there they go. With a big wave as they rotate the seats upwards so they can be better configured for launch, of course, and also they'll be able to see their display panels directly in front of them.
Yeah, the main reason why we want to launch and land in that position is for the G forces, the gravitational forces that we experience. You know, get up to 3 or 4 Gs on launch and landing, on a nominal launch and landing. And when you take those G forces through your chest, so when you're on your back, those forces are coming straight down, so they're hitting through your chest. That's much easier to deal with than if you were sitting straight up, then they were hitting your head. That would really drive the blood out of your head, and that's why, you know, if you're flying a jet, that kind of
Dragon
thing.
SpaceX, seats are in the launch position. You are go for Section 2, suit leak check preparation.
SpaceX Dragon Cappies, proceeding to Section 2, suit leak check preparation.
Now about 2 minutes and 30 seconds until launch. Next milestone, we're looking up for stage 2 LOX load to complete. Additionally, shortly after that, we'll hear gas closeout begin, isolating the feed lines from the different gas systems for the Falcon 9 rocket. Those will get vented overboard through the umbilicals and the strong back itself.
Stage 2 LOX loading is complete. Dragon is in auto idle.
Confirmation that stage 2 LOX load is complete. Dragon and Falcon 9 fully fueled.
Gas closeout has started. Expect loud venting.
There's the gas closeout call that we expected. Additionally, we will be in auto idle. This puts the rocket in a state the flight computers understand before it takes over, making sure the transition to final countdown is smooth. Coming up at T-minus 1 minute, we'll hear that Dragon is in countdown. Its computer will switch to countdown mode. We'll also hear that the flight termination system on Falcon 9 is armed.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon's in terminal count.
Dragon